This is Allison Shadian reporting for LTV. I'm here in front of the Criminal Justice Center in Los Angeles to give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the Conrad Murray trial. People all over the world are watching the televised coverage of this trial. Michael Jackson was a beloved pop icon, and people are watching to find out the fate of the doctor who was on trial for Michael Jackson's death. There are cameras set up in the courtroom in order to film this trial. In the back of the courtroom is the control center, which controls all 3 cameras. The company that's filming is In Session, formerly known as Court TV, which is owned by Turner Broadcasting System. Judge Pastor was very strict about the rules he had for filming. There were many signs that show the rules in that courtroom because it is a high-profile case. The day that I was in court, I sat in the second row near members of the Jackson family. Defense attorney Ed Chernoff was argumentatively cross-examining Dr. Stephen Schaefer, the prosecution expert witness on propofol, trying to discredit him. Judge Pastor admonished Dr. Paul White, another propofol expert, for reportedly making rude remarks about prosecutor David Walgren, calling him a scumbag. However, there were misunderstandings by different news websites that Mr. White said this about Dr. Schaefer during his testimony. White called Walgren a scumbag when he ruined a piece of evidence on one of the previous days of the trial. While there was tension building up in the courtroom, there was craziness happening outside the Criminal Justice Center. Michael Jackson fans were gathered with signs. Many of them had blue armbands that said MJ in gold cursive letters. One fan was even dressed as Jackson.
Well, we're here to support Michael Jackson and make sure he gets the justice he deserves. I mean, to be honest, I think the media and stuff is too much focusing on what happened that night. The whole picture has been ignored. What happened, but when you give that man $1.8 million worth of contract to look after you and care for you, what happened from day one till that night needs to look into the whole picture.
Another held up a sign of Dr. Murray on what looks like one of Jackson's album covers labeled Killer. On the 12th floor of the courthouse, KABC gave me an inside look at the media center used for high-profile cases.
I'm Miriam Hernandez from ABC7 Eyewitness News, and this is our workspace, the media room for coverage of the trial of Conrad Murray. This is where we have been staked out for about the past month. So I want to show you a little bit of our work area. When things are really rolling here, when there is testimony underway, we have journalists and editors and producers from across the country who are at workstations here. This is primarily the local news here. You can see here's KTLA 5. We have radio here, KFI sits over here. Here's KNX radio, 1070 right here. They're all listening to the same testimony that viewers can watch at home. But in this case, the reporters are here to listen to it all and to interpret as best they can the highlights of what happens during the day and to report it to people who are out there and very curious about this trial. Over here is where they operate the cameras that are inside the courtroom. There are 3 cameras. They can do some zooming in and they can do a little bit of pivoting inside the courtroom. 3 different monitors showing the 3 different camera angles. And perhaps somebody here could tell us a little bit about what you watch every day.
Well, Hans and I together we sort of run the pool. I work for Turner, basically In Session, and it's our cameras that are in the courtroom. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have 3 cameras, 3 robotic cameras. We have a cameraman in the courtroom because Judge Pastor is very strict about the fact that we cannot send out a signal until the jury is seated. So we need someone in there to tell us when that happens.
What restrictions did the court place on the cameras in the courtroom? Because it is very rare to have this opportunity.
Well, one of them, probably the single major concern was the judge did not want the jury to be distracted, either by seeing the cameras or by hearing them. And we complied with that, and the judge is very, very happy. Yeah, the cameras are all over their heads, so they don't see them.
Has this been tricky in any way, shape, or form, or was the system smooth running the entire time?
Well, a lot of the infrastructure in place was here from the original OJ criminal trial. And yet some testing was done. I think the Phil Spector trial was probably done in the interim, so some changes were made. But basically everything can handle the high definition signal, and it works well.
So the cabling from OJ still worked in high definition?
What's in this room, Hans, right? Is
Integrated it with
yeah,
fiber.
mhm.
A lot of it is.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about,
Yeah.
fiber optic
Yeah.
upgrades.
yeah.
The ninth floor to here is all fiber now. It's all glass, high definition, and pretty. And one interesting thing with this judge's order is that we're not seeing the matters of law that are being discussed outside the jury's presence. And of course, in American law, the judge decides the law and the jury decides the facts. So we're hearing all the facts as it goes to the jury, but we're not hearing the arguments over how the law will be presented to them. So we're getting a very interesting picture that's designed by the judge to avoid contaminating the jury with material outside their presence. But we're missing a lot of the infighting and the fun stuff where the lawyers go after each other. We're not hearing that up here. Of course not.
This is Allison Shadian reporting for LTV.